Namaste, and welcome now to my new Soul Horoscope SUPERscope. My name is Christopher Witecki. I'm a modern mystic and I'm a soul biographer. I help people get connected to their spirituality and connected to their own soul story, because I believe that if you know your story, you can take control of your destiny or step into your destiny and step in your heart. So astrology, numerology, I use a number of tools. That's why I'm kind of going by as a mystic now, because at this tender age of 40, I am realizing that you can't define yourself in any one box. And look who I'm talking to, the Aquariuses, the ones who refuse to be defined into a box. Well, I got bad news for you. I got real bad news for you. It turns out that the number that is astro-associated with you is 4, step 4. And as you know, 4 is really the essence of a box. No wonder you don't want to be boxed in, because you rule this 4th step. You actually rule the innovation that is necessary to move ahead. So, Sagittarius have great ideas, but Aquarius has innovated the premise in the first place. How do Aquarius and Aquarius risings innovate? Well, it's that they have this awareness of everything, where everything belongs. And according to who? They don't know. They just know. Rosa Parks just knows that she does not belong giving up her seat on the bus. She was an Aquarius. And, Oprah Winfrey knows she does not belong to lose to the Beef Council when they don't like what she says on her TV show, In America with Free Speech. Aquarius just know it doesn't belong. Just like as a Taurus, I just know when something is cheap. Like I just know. If I'm in a store, I'm like, this is cheap. I can tell this is made by child labor somewhere and someone's exploiting someone. And you can tell when something doesn't belong in that store. Me too. That's where Aquas and Tauruses are good friends. Like we always are too. I always love Aquas. Never dated one. I think I just never will. I'm pretty happy. I think we're just meant to be friends. I mean, you and I. But I got a Leo rising, so I definitely got the main going and I trigger you. Anyways, so Aquarius, what are you working on? You're working on inner faith. That's what it's all about this week, is inner faith. Let's go back to our rainforest. Is living in that inner faith and actually being able to sustain it, being able to bet on yourself and not sabotage it, not being afraid that something's going to fall apart. This is really connecting to your I sense state of awareness, and really, frankly, where Aquariuses are goofing up is step 7, I sense. They fail to sense before they leap or do anything. And this is just like a talent on earth, just like psychic awareness is there. You have to learn the distinction between it. It's like knowing the distinction between spoken word and singing. If an alien came down and said, what is the difference between singing and spoken word? How would you describe that to them? What is the difference if they don't even speak English or any other language? To me, the difference between singing and spoken word is the same difference between psychic thoughts and thoughts. They are distinctly different to me. I can tell 100%. But if you are alien to psychic awareness, then it will feel like that to you. Okay, so getting in touch with your psychic awareness. This is what causes problems in your moment, incidentally, and causes havoc in your moment, and causes rough seas and no fun in your moment, is that you are not decisive about your faith. And then the flip side of this actually deals with belief and your mind. And frankly, Aquariuses, like the way Rosa Parks did not give up her seat on the bus was she was stubborn-minded, right? And that's how y'all do it. You guys get stubborn-minded, right? And being stubborn-minded, you ultimately refuse to budge in your mind, and then that carries out to refusing to budge everywhere else in life. So it's actually a change of mind that will allow you to have faith in yourself if you follow that logic. Because if you just be a little more flexible in your thoughts, your beliefs will relax. When your beliefs relax, you can relax in the moment. When you relax in the moment, you will have faith. And that's the tension cord that I think Aquariuses are feeling. So let's take a look actually at what's going on this week for the Aquas. Coming out of the weekend, I'm going to reset this now. Coming out of the weekend, the moon is in Pisces, and so you are sensitive about money and sensitive about values on Sunday and Monday. Then you're very pensive, and that mind game problem can pick up. So you could go into mind games Tuesday and Wednesday, and really this is all leading up to what? A decision. And what's the decision? You're going to be put to a point where you have to decide whether or not to have faith in yourself. And look at the bottom here. The week focuses a radical shift in priorities and objectives. So you're going to have a radical shift somewhere between Sunday and Wednesday. I think everyone will have a radical shift, okay? Radical meaning, holy shift, I didn't see that coming. right? Now remember, your step 4, you're all about innovating so things stabilize. We have to not give up our seat on the bus so that there's equal rights. So you're going to have to innovate something yourself, inside yourself. When it comes to faith, you're going to have to do some sort of boycott on yourself, or boycott some sort of bad behavior of your own in order to make this change. Oh my God, that sounded like that was a Michael Jackson song, but I did not try that. I swear to Goddess, I didn't try for that. I think he's in my head. Man in the mirror. So, all right, so this brings us to the decision. Focus, Witecki. And the decision is, do I have faith in myself? Now the moon is in Aries, which means your mind is helter-skelter, and that means you have to tell the smartass who's boss. Your heart is boss of everything. So don't let your mind get running away from you. And it's time to decide, do I have faith? Now, this may play out in a job, a girlfriend, a boyfriend, something that has big real-world consequence. And that's still, though, in the background, a decision to have faith in yourself. And I will just say it's a decision. You decide that you're going to. It's not something you're going to feel ahead of time. You're going to feel like you have to, and you're going to decide, and then you're going to have faith after. Faith comes after, just like courage comes after. You don't have courage running into the building, you have courage running out. That's kind of how it works. All right, so then Friday, the moon moves into Taurus, and it's actually in Taurus during the action time, not Aries. That means the actions will probably be smooth on Thursday with the Taurus moon. We won't overreact. Thanks to the slowness of a Taurus and how it's difficult to tip a bull. But on Friday, you'll manifest new, and then Saturday, you are feeling, basically, bring back our rainforest, you are feeling this new, what is I'm looking for? Well, with the moon in Gemini, first of all, your inner child lights up. And with the moon in Taurus, you need to nest and rest. So technically, you take the action when you're nesting and resting on Thursday. And you're feeling, I think, rested when you take the action, so it's not going to be overreact. And then when you're manifesting new on Friday, you're loving and trusting that. So what I'm getting to is you're feeling the security, but the moon in Gemini then will hint towards inner child. And that's why I felt like I needed to back up there and explain it. All right, so that's your sensitivity. Now let's move on. I've got some cool stuff to show you that I think the Aquas will like more than any sign. I'm not kidding. Here we go. And this is the Stairway to Heaven. Do not sing right now. Do not sing. There's a way. I'm not really a singer yet, but I will be. I will be. So these are the 12 steps of consciousness that lead to manifestation. And most of the time when people cannot get things done, it's because they skip steps. Now my sensei teaches me that the road to heaven is single file. We meet our friends and family on the other side. So it's not your job to get people up these steps. It's not my job to get people up these steps. I basically will just tell you they exist and maybe sell you a couple of brochures and a couple of maps, and that's what I'm going to do here. But at the end of the day, you are step 4. So step 0 is I protect, step 1 is I love, step 2 is I feel, step 3 is I believe, and step 4 is I belong. When we're manifesting, this is why Aquariuses are floating above the earth. They like to stay in the I belong layer. You know, Sagittarius are not connected to earth either. They're floating at step 3. Cancers aren't quite wired either. They're kind of spinning around. Leos orbit, see, I love is the center, and Leos want to be the center. And then Scorpios, I protect. Scorpios wrap around that Leo, wrap around everything, right? Wrap around well, from what I understand. But that said, you are I belong step 4. And here's what I teach in my personal readings. I teach that you may love step 4, you may be good at step 4, but who you are is what you love and protect. That's it. The symbol of astrology is a circle with a dot in it. That is the loving and protection. That is the protection of love. The protection of love is the seed of all creation, right? And it's the protection of love, what I've realized. Protection from what? Corrosion, the dark, the gray forces, etc. So as you're trying to innovate your life, the reason why you sometimes get really seasick and don't want to do anything, Aqua, is because you're up on the 4th step when you're trying to make a decision for step 1. You're trying to make step 1 decisions, and you're doing it on the 4th step. If you're going to change something you love or direction, you got to go all the way back to step 1, and then you say, I belong over there. Aquarius tend to say, I belong there right now. And it's like, oh, did you finish your steps? Did you finish your cereal? All right, so step 4, Aqua. Now, I'm going to provide one more structure here that I think the Aquas are going to like. It's simple, and it's very Aquarius by nature. You've heard it before, I'm sure. It is powered by PLUR. Peace, love, unity, and respect is what PLUR stands for, if you don't know. And this is the way of the raver and the way of the partier. But you know what? They come out with something pretty powerful here. I've analyzed this and said if everyone practices PLUR, they will live in plurality. And plurality is that we can all get along just fine. So this is a wonderful gift from the universe, and I'm going to divide it down into your horoscope right now, starting with peace. Now the truth is that everything in the innerverse is what happens in the outerverse, all right? And so for the Aquarius and Aquarius risings, you quite often are not at peace in the innerverse. You usually are very emotional and you're trying to hide it, trying to remain cool. And you usually don't pamper yourself, but you kind of expect people to pamper you. And so I find that Aquarius's innerverse is quite often disrupted, and they often don't take responsibility for their innerverse. So this is one of the big issues with you not getting what you want in the outerverse, because your innerverse is scattered, and because you're so good at looking like everything's cool, like Jennifer Aniston, when it's like not. How can we ever be of service to you? How could anyone ever help? Says the Leo rising on the other side of the equation. So to be at peace, I think for Aquas and Aqua risings, you have to, for one, recognize that you're emotional in the moment and you require a tissue and a rattle and a bottle and all these things that feeling like a baby requires. We're all age 9-year-old and up, as far as I'm concerned. The other aspect that is with your mind. Uranus in Aries is saying your mind can be. You know how tricky your mind is. You know how funny your mind is. You know how your mind can be a total smartass. But what is it saying behind your back? And is it even looking at you constructively, or is it looking at you destructively? So your mind is a big piece of the equation, says the universe. And then the faith. This is where we get this week. You have to decide that you have faith in order to bring peace to your inner universe. If you don't decide you have faith, you will not have inner peace. So you must decide to create these peaceful places, and then you'll begin to draw in through law of attraction, peace. Now the next one is love, my favorite. Love is what you add after peace. So look at that. A lot of people expect love to make them peaceful, but it's actually peace that leads to love. It is peace, love, unity, and respect. Okay, this is a constructive string of letters, and it came out, I think, from the person who said it in the famous quote in 2003. I think that person was channeling God. It was very, very simple, because usually God consciousness is pretty simple. So love, you have to love your innerverse. Now this is where Aquariuses really don't do the work at all. This is where you get an F on your soul report card, because when it comes to loving yourself, you want to be loved, you want to be cherished. You will do good things for yourself, kind of, so to speak, but you're really kind of cold and hard on yourself and throw yourself against the wall all the time like spaghetti on the fridge, and constantly put yourself under the microscope and constantly look at yourself with laser beams, and that's just not loving, and you might say that's the way you were raised, but it's chicken egg thing. The point is that in your innerverse, to love yourself means that you take care of yourself, that you have the bottle with you. It means that you have all the things you need to feel good, and it means that you put feeling good over being genius, innovation, mad scientist. You have to put it over. If you want to enjoy Earth, you have to be, first of all, peaceful and loving inside yourself before you'll be a fun scientist, or a fun mad scientist. Next is unity. Now this is not where you have a problem. You and the Cappies have no problem with unity. It's like, it's all about you most of the time, I think, Aquarius and Aquarius rising, and your unity. Now I think sometimes you're too rigid because you're too afraid of sacrificing one of the stalagmites off your crystal in favor of, you want it to be 100%. You tend to want people to take you 100% whole with no milk, and it's like, that can be hard. So sometimes you're too unified. I think in that sense, Aquariuses are learning to be more cooperative. But I believe that the reason why you're not cooperative is because you're not cooperative with yourself. So your innerverse is not cooperative, but it is unified. And therefore your outerverse is not getting along with others because your innerverse is not cooperative. It's unified, but it's not flexible. So unity needs to be flexible as well, and needs to be unified around what your heart desires and loves. The last is respect. Now respect is something I think Aquariuses don't have much of a problem with. I think Aquariuses probably respect themselves better than any other sign. Let me think about that. Yeah, I would say so. Maybe Capricorns, but I think Aquariuses have true respect. I think Capricorns can kid themselves, I'm just saying. Aquariuses really do know where they belong. So if let's put it this way, if an Aquarius does respect themselves, then I think it's genuine respect. But you have to respect yourself if you want people to respect you. And notice this beautiful blue-purple circle. This circle is a boundary. And that's what we respect, our boundaries, people's limits, your limits, my limits. Wouldn't you like to see my limits too? That's what it's all about. So if you respect your inner verse and your inner verse's boundaries, then people will automatically, by default of the matrix, respect your outer boundaries. That's how it all kind of soul works. So respect your inner verse and you'll be happy. And I think this is like when you decide that you have faith, respect that you decided that, which means it's like, oh, I just heard bad news. Am I going to go panic for 2 hours? No. I'm going to respect the fact that at dinner I promised myself I wouldn't. And so, la 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 la. I'm going to go ahead and ignore myself for once instead of ignoring the world when I'm afraid of myself. That came out a little too honest, but it's true. Talking about aqua tongue. All right, so what else do I have for you? Oh, I have presents. Presents at solmar.me. Not really, but I will tell you this. If you want to see your megascope, this is the one that goes in the future, that Aquariuses love the future. Well, I'm going to always be a future. I'll have your birthday scopes out, your megascopes out soon. The megascopes are different than what you just saw. It's based on PLUR, but not quite the same, and it gets day by day and week by week. So come on down. It's $11.11, and always good karma. Also, if you want a reading with me, you can get a 15-minute follow-up for free, and my 1 hours are only $99 right now. So for $99 on the head, you can rock it in 2014, and I'll help you get to where you want to grow. And then lastly, I want to announce something very exciting, GA Venus. This is a special series to watch over single women, mostly. We assume men will take care of their own, and we assume that married gay women will take care of their own. So this is a service to take care of to women. And why say women? Well, because no one's doing cool stuff like this. Sure, there's Lifetime TV for women, and there's these like soaps for women, but is there really technology like working for just women? I'm sure there are, and if there are, we're going to work on it with those women, because it's not a competition in a female's world. But if you want a 7-day free trial of the new GA Venus service coming out for women and girls, come on down to gavenus.com and you can log in. You'll get a free 7 days on moi. C'est moi. All right, Aqua, my step 4s, my Aqua risings. Go out there and stabilize the world, but make sure you stabilize your universe before you do. I'll see you in 7 days. I'm live now for fun. This is HD, high definition human development here, and I'm your friend, Christopher Witecki. Until next week, live, love, be.